Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, my man. Oh, happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed.
You, my friend, have the coolest background. I love
You
it.
think so? Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, it is. It is super cool.
Yours is pretty nice too.
I got to tell you, this here, all new. It's not even. It's not even a green screen. When COVID hit and everything went to a work from home, I went all in. The audio, the video, the whole thing. I'm like, this is the future. I gotta up my game. You look good, brother.
Yeah, this is a time to invest, I think, right? So with all the money we save up from traveling, socializing, you should go somewhere and then you should go somewhere productive. So I think you are making the right investments there.
Yeah, no, I think you said the right way. And it's amazing how many things are sold out. As much as I'm trying to look for things online to improve my video presence, I feel like I'm battling the TikTokers to get lights. It seems like every TikToker has a ring light and I'm trying to get one. What are you seeing?
You are. So many people are starting channels, which is a good thing. There are a lot of good content out there. But then, everybody, some people are focusing on, maybe a bit too much on equipment because I think the content is probably more important. But people are like, people really, really paying so much attention to equipment. And I see like this really fancy lighting, they say, hey, how you should set this up with like some sparkle in the background, right? Like, so they have like lights and then like the lighting, like really professional, like the 3 lights, right? There's a few light in the back. There's like a light from the side. I see a lot of that online, but I
Gavin,
feel like that the content is king. Yeah.
What's so funny about that, Gavin, is I'll do a podcast with senior leaders and they barely understand lighting. It's almost like I want the TikTok generation to teach the senior leadership generation just a little bit of lighting. Just a little.
That's right. You want more light. You can like
right.
Be in a dark room and and then you want skin tone to be radiant, dark. Yep. So yeah.
Yep. So and Gavin, I'm in Florida. Where are we talking to you from? What state are you in now? And did you stay there or did you move?
Yeah, based out of the Washington D.C. area.
Got it.
Northern Virginia to be exact. Yeah, moved here last year from L.A.
You said you moved from L.A.?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I lived on the West Coast for 16 years before this. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on how do you think Gavin is doing? Gavin Newsom, our governor of California, your old buddy at California who's locking it down again. What are your thoughts on California and the lockdown as an being out there, a Californian from LA?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because I think I understand first of all I understand like some business they want to stay open. It's their lifeline, right? So definitely there's humanity concerns. People need to live, but then I think hopefully young people can behave a little better because I think like a lot of young people are out there because I know some people they have gotten sick and then they got their antibodies and then they just behaving irresponsibly. But I think some measures might be necessary, especially when you have these hotspots where really I think I sympathize the hospital staff. So if it comes to that point, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the approach we're taking, I think Europe too, right? So they're trying to be flexible. Like as you go along, as you see a spike, you sort of lock it down, and then you kind of loosen it up when things will get a little better. But I think it's really tough because we're used to freedom, right? So we used to freedom in this country, and staying at home for a long time, the fatigue. I mean, even for myself, I think like at first I always find things to be excited about, especially related to work. But later on, it just gets more difficult, like when you, it just drags on you.
Yeah. It's funny you said that. I just had that conversation with my family member. A little bit about me is that I was based in San Francisco. You were based in, LA, but I was based in San Francisco. And then I'm married, no kids, 2 dogs. In like pretty much August, I said to my wife, we're part of the exodus. Let's get out. We can work anywhere. And we picked the window, moved out to Florida and family, right? To be with family. I don't know if we threaded the needle, but it just seems like in California and San Francisco, first we had the fires, then we had the earthquake, then we had the smoke, now we have the lockdown. And I have a data science question for you. So again, we're with Gavin Wu, the director of data science. So the data science question, and if you look at the COVID charts, April, like when it was high, then it's low, and now it's even higher.
Yeah.
And you think back about the lockdown, should we not be surprised? There was no cure for this. You know, I'm just trying to figure that out as a data scientist, not as a healthcare practitioner, not as Dr. Fauci, as just a data scientist. When you just look at that chart and you say there is no cure, maybe the numbers have always been low. Maybe this is the right arc. I mean, when you look at that arc as a data scientist, not as a health practitioner, are you surprised? I know it's a tough question, right? Just
it's a tough question. It's a tough question. So because as a data scientist, I want to be able to know what the signals are.
Okay.
It's really not that much a surprise to say, it's just based on some of the things I've been seeing in the news. Some of the people's behavior. But I would say, this virus is very contagious. So when people are taking the best measures are being infected. So just knowing that fact alone, I know, like people have been looking at this metric called R square, right? Or R, like it's the replication factor. So keeping it under 1 is very difficult, especially knowing that, you still have to, everybody still have to go out there, they, just some of the things you have to do in life, like doing grocery shopping, and some people have to go to the pharmacy. Inevitable, you come into contact with the people. So with that in mind, and then with the cold weather, and just like, people are going to be indoor more. So I don't think that's a surprise, but I think we actually get more data regarding, some of the, I don't know. I think we need to capture more factors, because I think we're getting better understanding for this virus.
Yeah.
But we don't have the full understanding. So I think to make better predictions, we need to know a bit more. Like I said, especially regarding people movement. Yeah. So I think there's more science to be done here.
I totally agree. You're trying to build a model, and humans, at least the Americans, have this beautiful freedom. And I was saying this to my family member, we're not bears. We don't hibernate for months and then come out of hibernation. Like, we're built to move. And I tell you, then the interesting thing is that has also come out of this, and I love to hear about you and the data science team, is distributed work from home, asynchronous work. How are you holding up? How are you holding up mentally? How is your team holding up mentally? This is tough stuff. Working from home, dealing with families, maybe dealing with schools, dealing with unknowns. What have you done to just stay mentally tough and keep your team mentally tough and focused?
Yeah, so I think it's important to draw boundaries. So because now with working from home, people just like the boundary between work and life is just so blurred. So it's important for to allow people to create these blocks. So I allow people to on their calendar, hey, I have a 3 hours childcare. They just create this block. Like I also ask people on my team to respect their time in those hours. And also I try not to send emails, etc. in what I think are after hours. I think now the work hours are actually longer. You probably start from 8 to 6 instead of the 9 to 5. So after 6, I think I tend to just dial down unless it's something absolutely necessary. So I think actually I found that older folks tend to deal with this a little better because they already have a little bit of structure in their lives. Now they just need to move things around a bit. They will have, instead of like in the past, they work, they play with the kids at night, but now they're doing some of it in the day, but it's just shuffling some of those around. But for younger folks, I think they suffer a little bit more because they tend to like that, they want that social interaction. So I think from time to time, I like to do a little like a virtual, say, tea time, right? So everybody get together on Zoom and then, just introduce something like in their like apartment, like especially for the younger folks, and introduce like, some people are passionate about coffee and I like have them talk about coffee. So some of these things, but still, that's not enough. The other thing I try to do is to give them more exciting projects or things to work on, because this is a time, you get to actually invest in yourself more. So I try to, pivot some of the projects to, allow them to maybe leverage some of the things they want to learn. Also, some of the more latest developments in terms of, technology, methodology, frameworks. So just get them, keep them motivated. So when you're busy, you're paying less attention to some of these things, and especially you're busy about things that you're passionate about. So these are some of the things I did. I think to good effect, but still, it's not enough. It's this is a very, very extraordinary year.
I love you're mindful of your team. I love those 3-hour blocks. I'm pushing our team also to book time to do a lot of self-reflection. I'm pushing my team actually, and you can appreciate this, go back to old school and just do a dial-in. Like, I know what our team looks like. I don't need to do a video call every time. So I think the world was so excited about Zoom. Everything was a video call. And then maybe we went too far that way. So there are now meetings that I do with our team that we'll just do dial-in meetings. And then, for one day it's just dial-ins. And then the rest of the time it's going to be video. I want people to walk again. I want people not to be tied to a desk and a computer. Although the video might be off, you're still sitting down tethered to your computer. I want you to get up and walk. I want you to call in from your phone and walk around. Be safe. But I think that movement is just healthy and creative. I don't know your thoughts, but have you tried anything like that where you've tried to release them from the boundaries of the anchoring of the desk?
Yeah, absolutely. I myself like to go out there and get some fresh air. So, that's why sometimes I don't turn on my video either, And I know some of the younger folks, they on my team, some of them, I know they just want to, they like to go out for a walk after waking up. So I say, hey, no need to turn on the video there. And I did a lot of one-on-ones with my team that way, especially in the morning. And I understand why they're not turning on the video because it's expected. So yeah, after a while it just becomes natural. People can be anywhere and
yes.
when the job. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. When it's exciting that the vaccines are coming out, it's exciting that people are going to be getting vaccinated. I just think that there's just a lot of people that like this lifestyle now of not getting on a plane, not feeling the burden of running to a 40-minute client meeting that's 4 hours away for 40 minutes that you could just do this. So I'm looking forward to how everybody values vendor client time. That's what I'm looking forward to. Now, for you, when someone books an hour of your time, are you like, what the fuck? Why are you booking an hour? You must really need me during this new workforce. Or are you like, what can't you do in 20 minutes? Why do you need an hour of my time? Are you even more ruthless, rigorous, or I don't know the next word, but to get on your calendar for 1 hour, what does it need to be?
Yeah, we really, I feel like I like, some of the stories I heard about Elon Musk, right? He would go into a conference room and he found no utility for the meeting. He would just get right out of there, right? So I think like some of these meetings are unnecessarily dragged to these round numbers. There's no reason it has to be 30 minutes, an hour. Use whatever you want, and
yes.
When there's no more important things to talk about, don't drag it out to the round number. It's like life doesn't go with round numbers, right? It's like we have these bits and pieces. Yeah.
I'm going to use that. Life doesn't go into round numbers. Why is it 60 minutes? I love that. I agree. So now, one of the things we liked about like this type of podcast is we get to meet technology enthusiasts and leaders. Can you maybe share a story with our audience, looking back at your career, where something did not go your way, a job, an interview or something, it was devastating at the time, but now you look back at it and you're like, that should be my worst problem. Do you remember a time like that where you got kicked in the gut and you thought it was bad and you look back and you're like, not so bad?
Yeah, I think a little bit, no, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person get like knocked down by, defeat too much. So I think like over time, I recognize that the lives very often just don't go according to plan.
What? What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So yeah. After some time, I realized that. So I think like if there's one thing I can remember is maybe after graduating with my doctorate degree. Well, actually, it's before. I think my first interview was with Google. So at the time it was data science. I don't think that the term was popular back then, but I've been trained as a statistician, and I just happened to have good software engineering skills while doing my dissertation. So I landed the interview with Google, and I actually did like 2 phone interviews while I was doing my internship in summer, and I was feeling good. So when I after the internship, I got this on-site interview with them, and I was super excited. But maybe a little underprepared because it is your first interview, like while you're still in school, and then and I think most people probably want to have like some practice runs before that. They want to practice with a few companies. So not my case, right? So but I went in anyway. So I think I was underprepared. So actually I did pretty well. I would say at least I feel that way. But eventually I didn't get the job. So I was close, but not quite there. I was quite upset actually at first. I'm like, because at the time it was one of the hottest companies, and also it's one of the few places probably you can do, what we call data science today, which I was excited about back then already. So I've been upset for quite a while. But then, I afterwards, I basically regroup because this is a good learning experience. There's a lot of it's a challenging interview sequence. So I actually got good at, interviewing is not the point, but I got good at getting myself prepared for this kind of jobs. So that's how I actually landed my job with Microsoft. I was in a really good team there initially. So I was doing everything I love, and I also worked, for basically a competitor of Google at the time, Bing. So Bing at the time still had like 30% market share. And that actually made me understand, just the time I worked there, made me understand what makes Google so great. Like all the things. So like for starters, they have a solid foundation. I think every company needs to have a solid foundation, and Google has that. It has the this really solid algorithm that basically underpins all their things.
Yep.
And then at the time, I think Google was I think Bing was a little lacking in that regard. So it really made me understand the industry better.
But what I love about that story is, most people, when they share a story like that, it takes a little bit longer to get to the sweet spot. Applying and going late round Google and then landing at Microsoft. Good job, brother. I mean, if you go back and everyone, this is Gavin Wu. I mean, we're going back, I think, like 7 to 9 years from now. I mean, this is like 2010, 11. World was definitely different. Uber didn't exist. Bitcoin was just starting. I mean, there's a different world. I mean, think about that journey for everybody. Here's someone who's just goes for Google, doesn't get it, makes it late round, goes to Microsoft, but just has the great self-awareness to kind of see the differences. I mean, that's huge. And it sets you up for great success. But what's crazy about this story with Gavin is he's a California guy in DC. That's the worst ending of the story. He should be on a beach somewhere. that to me. So now, I mean, there's something called snow. You have it now. Like, do you miss the California beaches?
Yeah, I do. But it's a matter of, is it worth it, right? So I think maybe none of that is free. Like you're paying for
right.
all of it.
Right. And now listen, do you even use Bing now that now he's at Capital One? Do you even use Bing, or you're a Google search guy?
Yeah, we're mostly Google now. So we use a tech. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, they
Bing,
lost.
I'm not sure.
Whatever they lost on Bing, they won on Teams. I mean, Teams, they've got the foundation on Teams. They will never win search, but they're doing very well with Teams, Microsoft.
They are. They pivot really, really well. I think
crushed it.
Yeah. Yes, I think Satya, he just, when I was leaving, he became a CEO, and he's not hung up on things. He's looking for areas where there probably less competition, and also where Microsoft has the most legitimate chance of dominating. So he going there, invest heavily. So instead of hey, I'll go take Google head on these things where they already dominate, and it's a complete change of mindset. Yeah,
he's been incredible. I mean, he also for the audience. It's he was the CEO that took over after Ballmer and was like, if you guys want to use an Apple product, go use an Apple product. Let's just let's use great tools to build great tools. Let's go. I thought that was very mature also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are the Data Standard. We are data enthusiasts. We are sponsored by Pandio. That's Pandio. They are the leader in AI for distributed messaging, and we are a community. So, Gavin, any advice you can give to our community, whether it be people who are data scientists, up and coming data scientists, or an ask of our community? We're about now 10,000 people in our community. What can we do to help you? Any advice? What can we do? What can we do to help?
So I think data scientists, we need to, as a data scientist, we need to learn to project soft power better. Data scientists actually wield enormous power.
Yeah.
So especially in these days where, everything's governed by a model, in a sense, we're building things that literally is programming people's lives. So with that much power, and second of all, to maximize our impact and influence, we need to make people like our work. So to do that, I think everything we do have to serve a purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like data science actually needs to, in a way, behave like artists, because artists actually, they are in this game. So, we data scientists are, we're well positioned for this gig economy, but we need to really take on artist mindset and make people like what we do and make people like us. So I think the key to that is to build trust and retain trust.
I think there's three things there: build trust, retain trust, and I love there's just the creativity, being the artist. That is the swim lane. So this has been a great conversation with Gavin. We're going to have you back on the show. And everyone, this is Gavin Wu. He's with Capital One. Thanks again for being part of the Data Standard Audio Experience.
Thank you for having me, Darren. I enjoy our conversation.
Gavin, you said something beautiful. I want to dig into a data scientist being more like a data artist. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I think the idea is data scientists, first of all, wields enormous power. So we build models, and then the models these days are govern our lives. So we're really well positioned for the gig economy. So when you think of gigs, you think of artists. So what's the differentiator for any particular data scientist, or for you, right? So if you're a data scientist, how do you differentiate yourself from others? So I think these days we need to have the same things as an artist, which is most likely have a unique angle. It's like making a movie, right? So I think dawned on me when I went to Sundance a couple of years ago, and I see these movies, these indie movies, how these indie movies are made. They funding, and then after a while, they're basically, when they have the product, they either make it a success. Either they're able to become a success and sell it to a distributor or company like Netflix, or they just go away. It's exactly like a startup. So the whole process is very much like the process of building a startup. So there's this very close connection of being an artist and being a data scientist. So data scientists have to do some of the same things. You need to build a portfolio. Over the course of your creating, to build your portfolio, you need to demonstrate your unique angle looking at things. You need to have that craftsmanship. That's how you build a brand. And then also make sure that, before you do any of these, you do any work, you ask people what they want, you ask people how they feel. So anything you do is addressing a specific need. I think that's how you make people like you. In these days, popularity is important. So, every data scientist eventually, in this gig economy, will be representing himself or herself. So having that brand, having that popularity, it's going to give you that ultimate job security. It's going to give you that influence, and it's going to do a lot of good in the world if you do it the right way. So I think that's my advice for up and coming data scientists.
It's well said. It is. I never thought of it at that dimension, right? It's because sometimes you think, oh, you're a data scientist at Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Capital One, right? You think of these big, but even though you're at these big companies, think small, right? Big, but think creative. You're big, but you're still building your brand. You're still looking for your wins. You're still looking for your portfolio. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well said.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's great. And this is the Data Standard. Gavin, man, thanks for hanging with us, brother. And by the way, we're going to put a link to Gavin's LinkedIn profile on the show notes on this. So data scientists, definitely, and you pick it, fintech or any other sector, please reach out to Gavin, and he's a pretty cool dude and you can learn from him. So thanks again for being on the show.